I'm trying to be what I'm destined to be.
Oh, there are questions, so many questions. How was the shooter able to take up such an obvious vantage point? Why was there no oversight on the roof? Why didn't they notice the ladder placed next to the building? Elon Musk amplified the question of how such an obvious line of sight was not secured, suggesting it was either extreme incompetence or even deliberate. Musk called for the head of the Secret Service and the leader of the security detail to resign. Another Secret Service source called for mass firings or arrests. One eyewitness questioned the slow response, given that members of the crowd were desperately pointing out the shooter to the authorities.
We noticed a guy crawling, bear crawling up the roof of the building beside us, 50 feet away from us. So we're standing there, we're pointing at the guy crawling up the roof.
And he had a gun, right?
He had a rifle.
A rifle.
We could clearly see him with a rifle. Absolutely. We're pointing at him. The police are down there running around on the ground. We're like, hey man, there's a guy on the roof with a rifle. And the police were like, huh, what? Like they didn't know what was going on. We're like, hey, right here on the roof, we can see him from right here. We see him. He's crawling. And next thing you know, I'm thinking to myself, why is Trump still speaking? Why have they not pulled him off the stage? I'm standing there pointing at him for, 2-3 minutes. Secret Service is looking at us from the top of the barn. I'm pointing at that roof, just standing there like this. And next thing you know, 5 shots ring out.
Another eyewitness suggested the shooter was spotted before authorities even noticed him.
I was looking around myself and seen a guy on top of one of the buildings go in between one building to the next, and went and told the officer that he was up there. And when I went back to my spot, I heard that people could still see the person from where they were standing. So I checked that out. And I went back to tell the officer that if he came over there, he could see them. Trump just carried on talking while the shooter was able to take aim.
And that's a little bit...
Why is this female Secret Service agent bending down, exposing Trump's entire torso? And look, I know it was chaotic, but this is literally what they're trained for. Although it appears that in recent times, some of the Secret Service's resources have been directed to a different priority. Diversity hires.
To expand hiring, they're aiming to have 30% women recruits by 2030, and even allowed YouTube influencer Michelle Carre to train with agents.
But I'm very conscious as I sit in this chair now, of making sure that we need to attract diverse candidates.
I mean, I know it's a scary situation, but again, this is literally their job, and she can barely even holster a gun. If only you knew how bad things really are. Steve Bannon previously warned this would happen, partly due to the Secret Service's DEI drive. And why did the head of the Secret Service dismiss requests for more security around Trump? How did it escalate to this? Well, what did you think was going to happen when you continually equate someone to Hitler? Hysterically assert that they're a threat to the existence of democracy itself.
He is destructive to our democracy, and he has to be eliminated.
And in the case of Biden, literally say it was time to put Trump in the bullseye. Comments that were reported publicly just 6 days ago. How the fuck can you say he's literally Hitler and democracy is on the line, but we wish him a speedy recovery and political violence is never acceptable? This was Nancy Pelosi just a few days ago.
And he must be stopped. He cannot be president.
Steve Scalise, Brett Kavanaugh, and now Donald Trump. What do you think's going to happen when the political class relentlessly pumps this kind of deranged rhetoric into their heads?
I said, no. I said, if we were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him.
I will go and take Trump out tonight.
Too many see the protests as the problem. Please, show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
Go to the Hill today. Get up in the face of some Congress people.
And if you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome.
Running away from Donald Trump, I think you need to go back and punch him in the face.
When they go low, he can.
You know, there needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
They're still going to have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump, and that's a fact.
and their crazed shitlib viewers brazenly call for it. It didn't even need to be an inside job, a conspiracy, because they've radicalized enough nut jobs to virtually guarantee it anyway, and they've got the nerve to claim, even after a literal assassination attempt against Trump, that the right wing is the real violent extremist threat.
And then the biggest threat that officials are telling me tonight is in the form of retaliatory violence.
Sam, you're taking me to exactly what I've been underscoring and is frankly very concerning in the rhetoric we are seeing at this hour already.
The total bile spewed all over Twitter was fully expected, and these disgusting reactions are really put into perspective when you understand that a Trump supporter was killed and at least 2 others seriously injured. But more importantly than the lunatics on social media, the same mainstream media that created the environment for this very kind of thing to occur didn't exactly cover themselves in glory with their response to it, with the incident immediately clearly being an assassination attempt, blood smeared all over Trump's face. How did they report it? Just a few loud popping noises, just a few glass fragments. CNN said Trump just fell over. If CNN had been around in 1963, CNN's Jamie Gangel was more upset about Trump's moment of iconic defiance than the assassination attempt itself.
I do want to say there was one thing that when I watched the tape I found odd because of all of the heated rhetoric. And that is that after he was hit, former President Trump got up and said, fight, fight, fight. I think what we're hearing from people is that's not the message that we want to be sending right now. We want to tamp it down.
Newsweek was more upset about Trump supporters being outraged. Sky News, nothing justifies an assassination bid, but Trump did play a part. Utterly despicable. A BBC host suggested Republicans shared some of the blame.
And yet, Mr. Farage, you're not suggesting surely that this is coming only from one side. If we concentrate on what's happened in America, do the Republicans also not have a responsibility in terms of creating a political environment? Many of Donald Trump's supporters have on many occasions used incredibly direct language here.
They demonized Tucker for warning that this exact thing would happen.
But they're counterproductive. So if you chart it out, it's an escalation, is what I'm saying. Yeah. So what's next? After, try to put you in prison for the rest of your life, that's not working. So, don't they have to kill you now?
While TikTok shitlibs are more upset about the shooter's bad accuracy.
I just found out about this shit. It just happened. I haven't even had a second to process. You're telling me somebody finally had the balls to bring a pew-pew, and he missed! We were a second away! We were a centimeter away from half of the problem being gone, and you missed! There was a white man attached to that trigger. I know it! We were a centimeter away! Oh!
You missed. What does this do for the presidential race? Well, if betting markets are any indication and they don't succeed in killing him between now and November, Trump landslide. Nick Ferris, Chief Investment Officer at Vantage Point Asset Management. From memory, Reagan went up 22 points in the polls after his assassination attempt. The election is likely to be a landslide. The bullet was literally this close. Trump turned his head at the last second, saving his life. Fate or divine intervention. God must have been watching down. In the end, they're not coming after me, they're coming after you, and I'm just standing in their way. Really makes you think.
And I saw Trump rising up, and then I saw an attempt on his life. This bullet flew by his ear, and it came so close to his head that it busted his eardrum. And I saw he fell to his knees during this time frame, and he started worshiping the Lord. He got radically born again during this time frame.
Some people are saying America was 1 millimeter away from civil war. Some people are asking whether it wasn't just an assassination attempt, but an attempted coup. Not only did Donald Trump dodge a bullet, it appears the entire country and possibly the whole world did too. If you value what I do and you want to help support me, please visit pauljosephwatson.locals.com and either pledge a one-time donation or subscribe to join my community, get early access videos, and message me directly. And exclusive live streams coming soon too. Promise. Check out the Locals link down in the description. And don't forget to take a look at the brand new website, modernity.news. That's where you'll find all my content, including exclusive articles. That's modernity.news.